All right, everybody, welcome to the show this week. Midwest Mike's coming back at you. I'm Gary,
This is Austin.
and we are excited to do another show for you this week. I just want to give a shout-out again to Coach Harris from Van Horn High School. Last week, he was on the show with us. We got a lot of good feedback about the show. People liked some of the things he said, especially talking about building relationships with kids, which is what good coaches do. And I'm excited about that. I'm excited for him and his season, and just wanted to send a quick shout out to him. Thank him again for being on the show.
Always really cool to have a local coach on the show who talks about, and he's turned around the program, and he's got a lot of insights. One thing we didn't get to do, me and him really only got a few minutes to talk about LeBron versus Jordan. So we'll probably want to visit that again. Coach Harris, you're more than welcome to come back on the show, my man.
Oh, that sounds like a challenge.
Well, I don't know about a challenge, but we can have him back on because, I mean, he had a lot of good stuff to talk about and a lot of good insights on Jordan stuff. And we talked Kobe Bryant and everything. So if you haven't checked out the last show, go ahead and check it out. It was really, really good. A lot of good stuff from him. He's a big, positive guy. Like to have him back on again.
Yeah. I mean, he's a great guy. I've known him, like I said last week, about 10 years. And, we go back to my Grandview days as a coach, and when he was coaching there, and he does some very positive things for kids. And I love being around guys that do that. I've been around guys that do that quite often, and I've been around guys who are more in it for themselves. Not going to throw anybody under the bus, but, some guys do it for themselves. But, hey, it's all about the kids, and that's why we coach. I mean, we're trying to prepare our kids for the next level, and he does a great job of that out of Van Horn. The success and the state championships are not there, but he's definitely trending in the right direction.
Totally trending in the right direction. How long has he been in charge of that program?
He's going into year 3, so he talked about that culture change, and so we appreciated that. And he's done some good things in his first 2 years, and I look for big things from Van Horn High School this year over in Independence. Make a little noise.
Yeah, a huge thing to get the kids to buy in. And when you're a positive guy and you know what you're talking about, and the kids know that, and the kids start believing that you know what you're talking about, then things start turning around, and we might see some good stuff from Van Horn this year. So
yeah, and he definitely knows the X's and O's of football. I mean, longtime defensive coordinator, Grandview. I know he was at Raytown as DC. So, I mean, he definitely knows what he's talking about. He's seen some good football. He's learned from some very good coaches. So, knows what he's doing, and he's going to have a good year this year.
All right, so let's jump in it, man. NFL training camps.
NFL training camps are finally open. I am so excited. I mean, I know for me and you both, I mean, we love sports in general, but we are big time into football. I mean, football is the deal. We're huge NFL, college football fans, and NFL training camps have opened around the league.
I think, this is my personal opinion, I think that football, American football, is the greatest sport in the world. I'm so hyped to talk about it. I'm so hyped that college football is on its way too. This is going to be that part of the year when you have NFL and college football going on, and you get Major League Baseball playoffs at the same time, and NBA starts up. I mean, like this fall the fall time is one of the best sports times of the whole year. Baseball is cool and everything. All-Star game was great. Trade deadline was fun, but like that is the time, man.
Yeah, I mean, training camps opened here. It's late July. You start getting some preseason games in early August. And, the chase in baseball starts heating up. Those teams that are kind of on the bubble and trying to get those last-minute pushes to get in the playoffs. Then the playoffs for baseball start. And it's just an exciting time. And for me, it's my favorite time of year because I'm doing what I love to do, and that's coach high school football while all that's going on.
It's really cool, and it's really cool to see you get into that. And I really like that time because you get very excited, and it's just really cool to see your motivation and everything about that. And it's awesome, and especially that you're at Shawnee Mission East, a winning program. You guys have and you guys are set up. You get to contend for a state championship every year. So it's awesome to see you get into that, and I'd like to see everybody else get into that too. So great time of year.
Yep. I mean, I'll be studying my film. I've already kind of started looking at some film I've got from summer stuff, and I've been looking at that, and just kind of the closer we get to the season, and then once we get to that week one where you have, because we talked about a few weeks ago with Kevin, all the changes of coaching in the league that I coach in, which is the Sunflower League. So some of those teams you don't get film on from summer stuff because they don't do a lot of summer stuff with anybody else because they don't want their film to get out. And they don't want people seeing them until, it's time to play games. So you don't get as much film from summer. But, once we get into the season, week 1, 2, 3, I'll typically watch at least 3 games on an opponent. And the deeper in the season we get, the more meaningful the game, the better the team, the more film I'll watch. Me specifically, I look at their O-linemen is kind of what I do and how they pass protect, how they involve their running backs in that, what kind of running plays they use, what kind of techniques their offensive linemen use. I try to find the weak spot in their offensive line for my guys. I mean, that's no secret. That's what D-line coaches do. I mean, I'm not spilling the beans here, but, that's what I'll be responsible for. And I also found out, I'm going to be responsible for our JV defense playing on Mondays. So I'll be coordinating that, which that'll be fun and get to coach some of our younger kids, our sophomores and juniors that aren't making impacts on Friday nights.
Yeah, so I mean,
to build them up.
Yeah, and I know film work is like your passion. Yeah. And I've sat in with you and watched some film with you and stuff, and it's really cool. It's really cool to see that, and it's really cool. Like if you're a football nerd and you want to break down film and watch that stuff, it's very, very fun to do that. I mean, I've been doing it this off season, just watching some UCF stuff, and just some because I mean, no mistake about it. I've talked about it before. I'm super hyped on Scott Frost going to Nebraska, and I'm going to be watching that hardcore because the guy is on the cutting edge. Another guy that's on the cutting edge would be if you want to watch some of the stuff that dang it, what's the name of the Rams coach?
Scott McVay.
You want to see some of the stuff that Scott McVay is putting in Los Angeles
NFL,
Rams?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's exciting, it's awesome, and that's it. So
it's just football. Football is a great time of year, and if you can get as involved in it as you want to, you can, just watch on Sundays and be excited for your team that you cheer for on Sundays. Or, there's film out there. There's plenty of stuff, if you want to watch film that you can gain access to, watching, especially like ESPN does a great job during bowl season. I mean, I know for the bigger bowls, they do like kind of a coach's view, and they'll have a round table of coaches, especially for the national championship. And you can kind of think about some of that stuff. But you can get, there's college. Typically, there's a college game on a Wednesday. There is a pro game and sometimes college games on Thursday. You got high school games on Friday night. Some colleges play Friday night, but they try to stay away from that. And then Saturday, pretty much all day, you got college games going on. Sunday all day, you got pro games going on. So there's a ton of football to watch, and I would encourage any of our listeners to go out to a high school near you on a Friday night and watch a team. I mean, if you're in the Kansas City area, feel free to come watch us play the Lancers. Come watch us play one of our opponents. If there's another team that's in your community, then go support them. Go support the team in your community. Help them to get better.
Yeah,
watch them. Give them your money to go in and watch the game. And remember, don't berate the coaches. I mean, I go to high school games sometimes, and I hear people yelling at coaches. And, I mean, remember, everybody's trying to win. Some coaches do it better than others, but everybody's trying to win. And regardless or not, I mean, those kids out there on that field on Friday nights are 15, 16, 17 years old. They are kids, and they're trying to do what they're told. And I'm kind of talking to myself there. Even sometimes I kind of get in my guys a little bit. But, I mean, they're trying. They're giving you effort. So, go support that local team.
Yeah, why not? I mean, here's the thing, too. When you get on coaches and stuff, but unless you are coaching at a private school, you don't recruit players. Their job is to do kind of what Coach Harris has done and set the tone and set the mentality of the team and then go from there. But high schools get what they get, right?
Yeah.
They have.
And any public school coach, I heard it said best one time. I forget who it was that told me this, but the only players I recruit are walking my halls already.
That's right.
So a kid you see in school that's not playing football, you see them in that springtime, build that relationship and say, hey, come play football in the fall.
And basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to get the best out of the kids that you get and then go from there, right?
Yep, coach up the guys you got. I mean, just like, it's no secret that, you only get so many guys in high school.
Yep.
It's not like a college where I'm going to recruit this guy 2 years out to replace my top running back because he's going to graduate. I mean, you're not really recruiting kids. I mean, you are kind of looking in the future of your program, but you can't really recruit somebody to take that spot. So you're just, you play the hand you're dealt.
And so talking about football, the first preseason game is Thursday night. This Thursday, I think this show's coming out on Wednesday, so it would be tomorrow night. So Thursday, August 2nd, will be the Hall of Fame game. Bears, Ravens. I don't know if I'm working or but I'll have it on and I'll be watching it because I'm a football freak, and I'll be watching Ravens Bears. Some good stories there. Of course, you got Joe Flacco, who basically went ham in their playoff run to the Super Bowl and has been pretty average since then.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have Jerry Maclin. I think Steve Smith retired.
He did. He was
and so, dude, the Ravens are kind of
Lamar Jackson is the big story in Ravens camp. I believe he's the number 3 quarterback right now.
So who's behind Flacco then?
I don't remember who the number 2 is, but Lamar Jackson is the big story. Will he play this year? Will he have to wait a year? I mean, they drafted him late in the first round out of Louisville. And, that's the big story in Baltimore. Personally, I think the guy was a playmaker in college. I think he has potential to be a playmaker in the NFL.
Their second-string guy is a guy RG3.
RG3, okay. So, even will we see him possibly play, at some point this year for the Ravens?
So you think knows? Yes? I think no. I think Flacco is still really good.
I think Flacco starts the entire year this year. I think that going into the next offseason is when they'll transition from Flacco, move past RG3, and I think Lamar Jackson will take over.
And I guess it all depends on how Flacco does, right?
Because if he shows, it's a performance-based game.
If he shows that he still got it, which I'd be happy if Flacco was your quarterback. Sure, I'd be happy. And also at the same time, he got himself a lot of time because of the Super Bowl win, and because I think stats-wise and other stuff, he put together one of the best postseason.
He did. He did that year. They went to the Super Bowl. Which it helped having the defense he did. I mean, their defense has lost some of those key guys.
That was
Ray Lewis, Ed Reed.
That was the Ray Lewis deer
Swan Song.
The deer antler spray year.
Yeah, evidently he sprayed some deer antler spray on his arm, and
take deer antler
miraculously
spray,
healed it.
I think spray under your tongue, and then it heals up your ligaments or something like
that.
Yeah,
something. I don't know.
So if you were a smart guy, you would have got a hold of some and started selling it on eBay, right?
Yeah,
because everybody was all over it. So, but yeah, that defense was big, and then Flacco played really, really well. I think the 49ers that year with Kaepernick and all those guys were favored to win. Randy Moss was on that team. Yeah, I was rooting for the 49ers because I wanted Moss to get a ring. Yeah. I'm a big Moss guy, so I'm like...
I typically root for the NFC team in the Super Bowl because I am a Cowboys fan. So I typically root for the NFC in the Super Bowl. But I probably was not cheering for the 49ers that night because I'm not going to cheer for the 49ers ever as a Cowboys fan.
Well, that's true. I mean...
It's against my protocol.
It's totally against your protocol. Like I would like you're gonna we already talked about it, you're on the struggle bus this year because of Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley, you're like, oh man,
he's a giant. I'm a huge fan of him, but I don't like the New York Football Giants, so I can't cheer for him.
Yeah, you can't cheer for him.
I just can't.
Unless you got him in your fantasy team.
Yeah.
Which
who knows, that remains to be seen. Fantasy drafts are coming up here in the next few weeks, so
yeah. I mean, the goofy thing about fantasy is, I think it's funny. There is some luck involved, right? Because
you
end up drafting that guy.